Khrushchev, open this gate.
An entire class of U.S.-Soviet nuclear missiles is eliminated. Means that the era of nuclear disarmament has begun. We will stay the course, and we will succeed. No doubt. Operation Desert Storm is working.
Having little experience with Call of Duty campaigns in the past, I only know a bit about what to expect here. I was surprised to find out that what I was getting into was nothing like what I thought it would be. And I can tell you that's a good thing. With a cold open that feels like you're being dropped into the middle of a movie, you play a character called Case. It's through their eyes that you and your team will continue to work outside the purview of the CIA. Now, you'll have to forgive me because I've never played Call of Duty Cold War. I'll admit that price was a factor, and having Black Ops 6 on Game Pass has afforded quite literally myself and many others a lower barrier to entry. So when I tell you I have no idea who the cast of characters in Black Ops 6 are, you'll understand how deep these characters are when I tell you I care about these characters and the issues they face independently. Working through the campaign, I could instantly tell there's something deeper than just proving that there's an organization out there called the Pantheon and finding out who they are and what they want. Once you get past the tutorial, you'll quickly find yourself at your headquarters, which not only offers an opportunity to talk to different members of your team, but will be where you'll go to upgrade your skills, weapons, and gear. The cash required for this will come from exploring during missions or taking out special enemy units. Many of the options here are meant to improve your specific playstyle, so pick and choose what works best for you, and be sure to check out the special blueprints that are for some guns only available through the campaign. Each mission is set up to give you a slightly different experience, many of which echoed feelings I got from other games in completely different genres. This is where the magic of this campaign was evident. If I were to tell you that this game invoked a sense of gameplay that feels like Hitman, Resident Evil, Doom, Control, and Call of Duty, you'd probably be a bit confused. But those are all the different games I thought of with each different mission. There's a plot line that runs under all of this, which involves one of the characters almost giving the franchise the liberty to fall into the zombie genre easily. I can't say if Call of Duty has ever tried to explain zombie mode, but after playing this campaign, I could easily hand wave the odd nature of zombies having a place in COD. The mission that really stood out to me was Emergence. And I won't go deep so that you aren't spoiled. I would highly recommend you enjoy the experience and take your time with it. The only time I think I got bored was during a mission called Hunting Season. It's more of an open map style mission and feels less like you're doing something that will directly impact the story. It will, however, give Call of Duty fans the closest experience to a Far Cry game that I was able to find. And this is mostly due to you driving around as you get the opportunity to go out and clear out camps with objectives and challenges. All in all, the missions were great, and I really did enjoy them with maybe a couple exceptions, especially towards the later end of the game, where I think they did an exceptional job of blending the action combat of Call of Duty with the, well, let's just say, mental exploration of self. While there is still a lot of story that I can't get into, the experience overall was something that I think many will look back on as a high point in the franchise. I can only hope that there is more story to come, either within the next year or two's worth of support, or in the next release in the series. Now that I've covered the campaign, I wanted to talk about the multiplayer, because I think it's just as important as the campaign. It is the lifeblood of the game. Call of Duty has always lived and died on its multiplayer. Black Ops 6 brings some new features to the table that will help add not only quality of life to the game, but also allow for better, and more agency with the Battle Pass system. While this review is coming out well after launch, blame how much fun I'm having in multiplayer for the delay, I feel like I have a good idea of how the maps, weapons, and meta have fallen into place. At the moment, I've put in over 100 hours into the game, with a large chunk of that being in multiplayer. Omni-movement, the new feature for Call of Duty, allows for players to dive and turn around in a more natural fashion. It's really made the combat feel more authentic and is definitely a good tool when used correctly. That is to say, not diving headfirst towards someone who's already aiming down sights. While this may have been a very big buzzword during the lead up to launch, the impact was not nearly as large as I think everyone at the studio was hoping. One thing it does allow for is a more incognito-prone experience, making it harder for enemies to tell if you're just a corpse or someone playing dead. Much of the experience is still the same, with the exception that the time to kill, or TTK, is quicker, making it easier in core mode to get kills. As someone who mostly plays in hardcore, I do appreciate the fewer bullets required to get kills. One of the common traits in Treyarch games is having smaller maps for more frequent kills, which can be a blessing or curse depending on how good you are at getting score streaks. Most of the maps in Black Ops 6 are good, with outliers like Red Card, Rewind, or Lowtown being frequently skipped when voting on maps. The 1990s music makes a wonderful addition to a lot of the maps and keeps me rooted to the campaign and childhood as a millennial myself. At the moment, assault rifles are king, and there has been a nerf to their damage drop-off at long range already. Most are treated like a sniper rifle, and not many people run marksman rifles or sniper rifles. The only issue I really have with this is when I'm asked to use long-range weapons for dailies. Speaking of dailies, there are some that seem out of touch with the playstyle for a majority of the players, which force you to use a flash or concussive tactical and get a kill while the enemy is affected by them. Most of the dailies are pretty straightforward, with weeklies being absent from the game entirely. The prestige system is present and offers a wide range of nostalgia, with callbacks to past games giving you calling cards, emblems, blueprints, and even operators. While most of the cosmetics you'll be getting are okay, some, like the Nuketown blueprint for the XM4, have a look that speaks to the theme of that particular prestige. There is a level system that has guns, score streaks, perks, as well as equipment locked between level 1 and level 55. Once you hit level 55, you'll have the option to prestige, which will reset your chosen operator, loadouts, score streaks, and emotes, oddly enough. The perk to doing this is you'll receive a level unlock, which can allow you to permanently unlock one thing within any level between 1 and 55. This can be pretty helpful when you are looking to work on the different camos while getting the prestige cosmetics. Some of the best advice for those who haven't messed with this is to go for perks and wildcards first, and then move on to high-level guns and equipment. Overall, the system is set up to help you get comfortable with your loadouts post-wipe, and while I think they could do more in this area, it's a reward for taking on the challenge of going back to nothing. How does it feel though? The combat is solid, with the only ever-present gripes of, I know I shot first, or what is up with these spawns? With my personal favorite being, oh, you laying down son of a. With a strong lineup of weapons that have all the standard attachments that you'd expect, Treyarch and Raven have been making Call of Duty games for a long time, and their talent shows. The first month of the game's launch these days can always be tricky, and while there definitely were things that seemed weird with matches, most of those bugs have been worked out. The state of the game right now feels healthy unless you're playing Nuketown, in which case the map should have wallbanging illegal, because shooting through a house to kill someone in the backyard feels a little dirty. Next, I wanted to talk about zombies. The return to round-based zombies has been a welcome change for many. The design of allowing players to gradually move from area to area, unlocking gates and killing waves of zombies for essence, is a departure from the modern warfare style of open world that has been in the last 2 installments. With 2 maps available at the time of this review, I find the return to zombies of old a little less enjoyable than zombies warfare. One of the perks behind having an open world zombie game that offers low to high difficulties is that once you get things rolling, you can easily shoot mindless zombies. There's nothing to push you to do anything harder than what you want. Now, with the return of rounds, each round will be more difficult and adding substantial stress to the situation if you're not sure what the next step is. Thankfully, after the first season dropped, the addition of a directed mode was released that gives a step-by-step guide during the match for how to get to the boss if you want the completion. One of the biggest failings of zombies is its design around extraction and secrets. Many will most likely enjoy the hidden progression, but I find it all tedious when playing with random people. Extraction is set up to be something that happens on the 11th level and every 5 levels after which. You must have a majority vote to be able to get to the extraction chopper. The problem here is that then you have to kill enough zombies within the extraction area to be able to successfully extract. If you don't, then it's game over, regardless of how well you did up until then. I think that's one of the things that frustrates me the most about this. Sometimes you can be having a really good extraction and something happens, you lose out, and all of that progress is lost. They have added all of the standard ammo mods as well as Perca-Colas and different augments that you can do as far as your loadout, and have given you a way to build in permanent progression and alterations through augments and Gobblegums, which are the new currency-based consumable for each match. Are things that I think people will find to help with the long-term success of zombies. The augments giving you the ability to fine-tune different types of Perca-Colas or lethals, things like that in the game that you would normally use. You can kind of mess around with it to get some extra added value out of them, depending on your playstyle. With Gobblegums, these are going to be around in different gumball machines. They are consumable, and you can choose your loadout at the beginning of a match to determine what type of Gobblegums you want to use. These do have rarity and are sold in the Call of Duty store, with most of them being awarded between rounds. There has been some double XP events that have given you the double amount of Gobblegums, but once you eat them, they are gone. And you can have multiple quantities in your inventory, but only 3 active at a time. And you must choose from a pool of 6 to 7 to be able to determine what you want to have as an RNG-based boost throughout the match. Now, it's not necessary for you to actually play around with these, but they will be very helpful in certain circumstances depending on the rarity. One, in some cases, actually stops zombies from being able to do anything. Others take you from one place to another randomly, while some are just easy gives like an extra Perca-Cola next time you buy one, or a better wall buy if you were looking for that higher level weapon. The directed mode is a much better experience and increases my enjoyment of the mode. If you get stuck on a story point and aren't sure how to complete it, you'll be capped at a certain level for the waves. Now, these waves will continue to happen, but at least you won't get more difficult waves as you continue to work out what it is that you have to do. It's always a good way to also farm up essence and scrap, which will allow you to increase the power of your weapons to better handle later levels. Overall, I think they've done a really good job, and I'm looking forward to the upcoming castle expansion to the new level that they're adding for zombies this December. But for all intents and purposes, I do sorely miss my open world zombies game. Something about running around in a vehicle and smashing through zombies and calling in drops and taking rappel lines to soar across a world, knowing that there are going to be some big baddies and some small baddies, and how much I want to take on at one given time does allow me a little bit more agency than I think the round-based zombies does. That being said, it is definitely still a very good zombies game. The first season of Call of Duty is underway, with 2 months left to get work on getting it complete. So far, the new Battle Pass system is a nice departure from Modern Warfare's sector-based system. With a page system closer to Fortnite with fewer restrictions, players now have the option to put tokens into any page that's unlocked. The biggest benefit is that you can focus tokens into getting your Call of Duty points back for the next pass easier, with a couple exceptions where COD points are locked to the completing of that page. With 2 new weapons and plenty of blueprints, working through your gold camos will be easier when you don't have to rely on the level progression to open up specific weapons. The rewards themselves are nice, with a callback to this year's Olympic breakdance competition and a tribute to Ray Gun's showing of Australia's pride in the final page of the Battle Pass as an emote. BlackCell also makes a return in Black Ops 6, and with it comes most of the extra cosmetics as well as tier tokens and points. This is typically a good value for most of the people who love to have a head start on the seasonal pass and pick up some extra COD points for the store. One of the best accidents to happen was when the devs accidentally gave everyone access to all of their experience tokens from Modern Warfare 3 for a day. They turned it off after, but after cries of injustice, they decided to implement it, allowing everyone to use their 2 times experience tokens from the previous games. All in all, I would say that Black Ops 6 is one of the best Call of Duties I've ever played. The campaign offers a fresh experience with a solid story and design that will give you something not possible in other modes. The multiplayer is sound, and with more maps being added regularly and new weapons to adjust your playstyle, I think they've done a very good job, even if the time to kill is a little bit fast than most people are used to. Warzone has made its return and is offering all of the Omni-movement present in Black Ops 6. And Zombies' return to round-based waves is the weakest aspect of the game in my opinion, but only because I'm coming from such a loved mode in the open world aspect from Modern Warfare. If you haven't given this a chance already, I'm not sure what's stopping you, but hopefully if you have an opportunity to jump into Game Pass Ultimate, you'll take advantage of it being in there. Otherwise, it's definitely worth the money just for the campaign, but the Warzone, the zombies, and the multiplayer are all fairly sound. I would definitely recommend you play this game. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, and tune in for more reviews and content from Xbox Expansion Pass.